You are listening to A Scary State, and this week we're talking about New Year's Eve and the crimes and criminals associated with it. So, Lauren,
Yes, Kenzie.
let's get scary.
Finally.
We don't need to tell the people why.
Hopefully, we'll be able to tell you why soon.
Just took us a bit longer to get started than we anticipated, but we're here now.
We're
Not
here
that it
now.
would make any fucking difference to any of you.
But okay, I wanted to do this before the end of the year because I think this is really exciting.
Okay.
So I think this is just with the podcast host that we use. But we got some of our stats back, kind of like a Spotify Wrapped, but we get it with our podcast host. So our most popular city for the people who, our most popular state was Colorado. With the most popular city being Colorado Springs.
Hello, Colorado.
Then Seattle, Washington. Then Omaha, Nebraska. Then Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right, West Coasters, here we go.
Then Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis, y'all fell. You were our top city last year.
Step it the fuck up, Minneapolis.
We also have 45 countries who listen to us, with the US being the most. Shocking. Followed by UK, Germany, Canada, and then South Africa.
Hey.
So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was
cool.
kind of fun.
That is cool.
So thank you, everyone, for listening to us week after week, year after year, mishap after mishap.
Episode after episode.
Episode after episode.
And who continue to listen despite
everything. But yeah, so I just thought that was kind of cool.
That is cool. It's cool to know that people around the world are listening to us.
It is really cool.
Hopefully it's because they think we're clever and smart and witty and funny.
We're just missing one continent, and that's Antarctica. But Antarctica doesn't even show up in our list of places that could potentially listen to us.
Which, it's kind of interesting because I know there's scientists and shit down there.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if
they listened.
They listened. Granted, I'm sure they're representing whatever country they work for.
Yeah, but it puts them
really
in
cool.
where they're listening.
Yeah, it'd still be cool if they
and
were
then
on an expedition.
We had one listener who, this was way, way, way back at the beginning, where I was talking about how I wanted to step on every continent.
Yes.
And she sent us a link and it was like, hey, here's a cruise ship that goes down there. So it's one of those cruises where you go to all the cold places,
really
but you actually go to Antarctica.
It's really long and it's really expensive.
But still, it's an option when I want to step foot on Antarctica. I don't think I want to. I don't like being cold.
And we
that
can't
cold.
Take a plane? We got to take a boat?
I don't know.
I also don't want to be cold.
I also don't really want to go on a plane right now. Okay, here's this weird thing. So Joe and I we were trying to get back into whatever we wanted to watch while we were rotting on the couch, and it was great. But we watched Jurassic Park, all three of them.
Nice.
And every single one involves a plane crash, right?
Okay,
so then
it's
we're
a little dinky plane.
Yeah, but still. So then we're like, oh, let's watch Lost. Try to get back into Lost.
That's dumb.
That started with a plane crash as well. So we're like, Yellow Jackets starts with a plane crash. And then there was another show that we watched. It will pop into my head randomly, but that also had a plane crash in it. So we're like, don't want to go on a plane. And then on the news, there was a plane that crashed in Tajikistan or something. And then there was another one that recently just crashed in South Korea.
Yeah, I saw a video of, and it was it had landed and it was fine, and then it ran into a wall and blew up.
Was that real?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So Joe was like, Lauren, maybe we don't go on planes for a little bit. And I said, that sounds great. So kind of stepping away from planes for a little bit.
Okay.
And then after your turbulence ride that you had.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, and it happens without fail. One way is no bueno.
Mm-hmm.
The other way is fine.
Yeah.
So whichever way it is, I know that the way back is going to suck. Or the
way back will be better.
Yeah.
Because, when Joe and I went to the Dominican Republic, the way there, oh my God.
Miserable.
We hit some really bad turbulence.
Yeah.
Coming back, there was rain, but it wasn't that bad. We were able to make it, it was fine.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, when I went to Amsterdam, heading there, totally fine. I fell asleep for a little bit of it. Coming back, I thought I was going to die 2 or 3 times. Because it did that thing where it just drops.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No.
I don't do well.
With a lot. I'm kidding.
Also, we're recording in beanbags.
We are recording on beanbags.
Because Mackenzie got us beanbags for the studio, and it's so exciting.
We also got a new toy that we kind of figured out how to use. We're not currently using it right now, but we're hoping that we can use it soon.
That's literally what Mackenzie said not to talk about. That's the thing. We have a new toy, but we don't know how to play with it yet.
They didn't know that until you said it.
Some people would have put 2 and 2 together.
Well, then we could have let them have that. Now everyone's going to put it together.
We were so stupid.
We don't need to tell them. We figured it out.
We did.
We knew it was user error.
Yeah.
We just couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong. And then we did. But we still have to figure things out. It still wasn't working quite how we wanted it to.
We'll get there.
But at least we solved one problem. And I think that in itself is a win. Because I got here at like 1:30.
And it is 5 o'clock now.
Yeah. But it's okay because we're going to have a sleepover.
Yeah.
And we'll order the Chinese food when we leave here and
So
are
that
driving
it's there.
back to my house.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I know.
So we had Jesus's head again on our chocolate log.
Okay.
So tradition's still going.
Love that.
It's so funny.
Yes, it is.
Oh, I have a picture of it. So we can always post another yearly picture of the Jesus head Christmas log.
You got to make sure that you're putting it in different spots on the log.
I just give it to Grandma and she puts it wherever she thinks it needs to go.
There was a song I just thought of with a log.
There's a hole in the bottom of the sea.
I think that might have been it.
I think it is. Okay. Shall we get into New Year's traditions before Mackenzie sings the entire song?
I could.
I know you could.
So we got a mix here.
Okay.
We have traditions from like around the world.
Fun.
And then we also have just like common traditions that you think of when you think of New Year's. So like the New Year's kiss, using, toasting with champagne, that kind of thing.
Okay. All right. So in Scotland, the first footer is the first person to enter a home after midnight on New Year's Day. That person is believed to bring good luck or bad luck for the coming year. Traditionally, a tall, dark-haired male is considered the luckiest first visitor. The first footer often brings symbolic gifts like coal, coins, whiskey, or black buns, representing warmth, prosperity, and celebration. Joe is a dark-haired male, but he is not tall. So that one would not work. In Japan, the Buddhist tradition of Joya no Kane involves ringing temple bells 108 times at midnight on New Year's Eve. This practice symbolizes the purification of the 108 human sins in Buddhist belief, allowing people to enter the new year cleansed. I want to know what those sins are. Well, we'll find that out.
And if people go who Buddhist or not Buddhist, they'll ring it more.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. In the town of Talca, Chile, some families spend New Year's Eve in cemeteries, setting up chairs and bringing music to be close to their deceased loved ones as they welcome the new year. I really like that one.
I wouldn't mind doing that if there was more, like, this is clearly like a bunch of people are doing it.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people around, and I'm sure there's like lights and like it's not as spooky. I wouldn't want to do it just by myself.
You're picturing like yourself in one lone chair in a huge cemetery.
Correct.
With like,
at night.
creepy music playing.
Like during the daytime is different. During the daytime, I prefer to be by myself. Like I go to the Jewish cemetery where my grandmother is on Saturday when I know no Jews are going to be there.
But then, yeah, that's during the day. That's okay.
Yeah.
In Romania, during the New Year celebration, people dress in bear costumes and dance from house to house. This tradition is believed to ward off evil spirits and bring good luck for the coming year. I want that. In Spain, it's customary to eat 12 grapes at midnight, one for each stroke of the clock to bring good luck for each month of the coming year. This tradition, known as Las 12 Uvas de la Suerte, is believed to date back to the early 20th century. Last year, Joe and I went back to our place where we got married, like our venue, for a New Year's thing. And the lady at our table was like, I'll be right back. I have to eat my grapes. And she like ran outside to eat her 12 grapes.
Yeah, I've had friends who have done that. And I'm like, so far, the 2 years in a row you've done it hasn't made a fucking difference.
And honestly, 12 grapes is kind of a lot.
I don't like
think
grapes,
I eat...
so I'm never going to do that.
I do like grapes, but I don't think I've ever had, well, maybe on like big days, but I usually don't eat 12. That's just like a lot of grapes. I don't know. Philippines.
If it's 12 chips.
Oh, then I could crush that.
Totally do
I'd be good for the next 5 years.
Yeah, man.
Filipinos believe that round shapes symbolize prosperity. During New Year's Eve, families display 12 different round fruits, and some people wear polka-dotted clothes to attract good fortune.
Nice.
Name 3 round fruits.
Watermelon, cantaloupe, regular melon.
Grapes.
Apple, Orange.
Mm-hmm. A plum. A peach.
Kiwi.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have 12. We don't, but probably.
Blueberry.
Oh, raspberry.
No, those are bumpy.
They're still circular.
No, they're not.
A raspberry?
Yeah, look up a raspberry.
I know what a raspberry looks like.
It's like more like almost kind of like a triangle. It's round, but it's not like a circle.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
In Ecuador, people create effigies called años viejos, representing the old year, and burn them at midnight to cleanse negative energy and make way for good luck. These effigies often resemble politicians, celebrities, or other notable figures.
The website called it like burning of scarecrows.
Oh. In Brazil, consuming lentils at the start of the new year is thought to bring prosperity, as their coin-like shape symbolizes wealth. Some also eat 7 pomegranate seeds and keep the seeds in their wallet to attract money.
Pomegranate is round.
It is round. I also love lentils. Danes, this is Denmark, save old dishes throughout the year to break them on the doorsteps of friends and family on New Year's Eve, symbolizing affection and bestowing good luck upon them. I want to do that. That seems fun.
But could you imagine your family coming here, dropping plates and be like, all right, bye.
Peace. And then you have to clean up all the glass. In Colombia, walking around the block with an empty suitcase at midnight is believed to ensure a year filled with travel and adventure.
Interesting.
That's fun. Yeah. New Year's resolutions date back over 4,000 years. The Babylonians made promises to their gods during the Akitu festival to earn divine favor. Similarly, ancient Romans pledged to the god Janus, after whom January is named.
I hope it's Janus.
Janus, not Janus.
Janus.
It's probably Janus or something.
The god of Janus.
Today, people continue this tradition by making personal resolutions for self-improvement.
Especially since it's January.
Janus. And we already talked about how you don't have a New Year's resolution, right?
I always try to self-improve every year.
Okay. So the Times Square ball drop, initiated in 1907 by New York Times publisher Adolph S. Hoches.
Hoch or Ock?
Ox.
Ock.
The first New Year's Eve ball was made of iron and wood, weighing around 700 pounds.
Damn.
This event was symbolized by time balls, used in the early 1800s to help ship captains synchronize their timepieces.
Interesting.
The practice of creating loud noises with fireworks, noisemakers, or banging pots and pans is rooted in ancient Chinese traditions aimed at scaring away evil spirits during the new year. This belief persists in places like the Philippines, where noise is used to ward off malevolent entities. Do you remember at the end of 2020 when we had gone to a hotel and we celebrated New Year's there, and everyone goes outside on the balcony and everyone's cheering because 2020 was over, and then we entered into 2021 and nothing got better?
I remember the nothing getting better part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember us going out on the balcony.
At the beach.
I know where we were.
Oh, I definitely went out on the balcony. Maybe you didn't, but I did. And I heard everyone around us cheering, and everyone's like, 2020 is over. We made it. And everyone was so excited. And then we just kept on with the keeping on.
I believe you.
It happened.
Don't remember.
Auld Lang Syne was an old Scottish song with lyrics by poet Robert Burns, which translates to old long since and reflects on times gone by. Its association with New Year's Eve was popularized by Canadian musician Guy Lombardo, who began performing it on December 31st in 1929.
Do we want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay. We know that song. Champagne.
Once an elusive beverage for the elite due to its high cost, champagne became more accessible in the 1800s with improved production methods. Its association with luxury and celebration led to its prominence in New Year's festivities.
Champagne.
It's just one of those stupid words.
Champagne. Well, it's French.
Yeah, one of those words that doesn't look like how it's spelled.
That's the French for you.
Good on them.
40A.
I know. Judge. And my married last name, too. Same thing.
But, like, your family has Americanized your last name.
Oh, 100%.
Fortier.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why my brother and I got the tattoo to draw.
4T and then A.
Yep. For the French routes of it.
The French what?
Roots. Those strong French roots. Okay.
Them French routes that they took to get here.
You suck. Okay. Stemming from ancient English and Germanic folklore, kissing at midnight was believed to set the tone for one's romantic life in the coming year.
Ha!
This tradition was sustained through masquerade balls and popularized in modern times by films like When Harry Met Sally. Do we not like the New Year's kiss?
I just don't think it necessarily sets the tone.
True.
Because the tone changes. So,
in various cultures, the color of underwear worn on New Year's is thought to influence one's fate in the coming year. For example, red is often associated with love and romance, while yellow signifies wealth and success. This practice may trace back to the Middle Ages.
I didn't even think they had underwear in the Middle Ages.
At least not colored underwear.
Yeah.
Are you going to wear red underwear?
No, I'm wearing yellow.
Do you own yellow underwear? That's not a very popular underwear color.
No, but I do own red.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder what all of them are because, like, you know, I have a lot of purple underwear.
It's like, remember those like silly bands or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And each color stood for something different.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were so cool wearing those.
I know. You were like, oh, I have a red one. I don't remember what any of them stood for.
Same. But they were all inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Which made it all that more fun to wear because you're like, look at
scandalous. Look at this rubber thing around my freaking wrist. Means all these things.
No one's gonna know except the other people here. Ha ha ha, the parents.
Do you remember when we also wore those, like, not silly bands, but it was like the thick bands that was like the Live Strong ones or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
And you like collected all of them and you had them like going up your freaking arm. This was before friendship bracelets were like a whole thing.
Yeah.
You just collected like the
Times
rubber
were
ones.
weird.
But I mean, really, has anything changed? Because now people do that with friendship bracelets.
Now?
Yeah, they do it with like the bead things that they make.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the same thing, just different material.
That's true. When I was a camp counselor, I got so many bracelets. The kids were like, Miss Lauren, can you wear this bracelet? And if you didn't wear it, then you looked really awful. So I had so many.
Yeah, and usually they're way too big.
Oh, yeah.
Because they think your wrist is for some reason massive.
You're like trying to tie it on with a hair tie to make sure it stays.
Yeah, you're like, wow, this is great.
I remember once the kids got like tattoos. So all of us had like all these random tattoos all over our neck.
Nice.
And I went to a party like with like adults. Well, like people my age, not the kids, obviously. And I saw one of the other counselors and him and I both were covered in like fake tattoos.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, hey.
Nice. Very nice. That's funny.
But yeah, so those are our New Year traditions. This is our last. No.
Yes,
the last episode we'll record this year.
Well, it's the last episode we record of 2024, but technically the first of 2025 because it goes out on New Year's Day.
Exactly.
So
how exciting.
This will be the last, recorded episode of 2024.
Oh, well, it's been a great year.
It has been.
Do we have anything to reflect on?
Next time I go back to school, I'm only taking one class at a time.
When are you going back to school?
Just if.
Oh, God.
Not anytime soon. I did sign up for my test.
For what?
To get the certification. To be an officially certified reading specialist, I have to have my master's and I have to take the test.
Wow.
It's master's plus the praxis test I have to take. So I signed up for it.
Good job.
For the end of January.
Good job. And then back to
And then I'll really be done.
Finally.
Yeah.
I have nothing to reflect on.
Yeah.
Just doing life as I'm doing it.
Stick to your boundaries.
Okay. Is this to me or to everyone?
Whoever.
Okay.
Self-care.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
You don't have to do something you don't want to do, which I guess goes with saying no.
Oh, speaking of saying no, I don't know why this reminded me. No, I do know why. Because I want you to watch a scary movie. And that reminded me of a scary movie I watched. It actually freaked me out that night. I'm not scared of it anymore. But that night I was actually really scared. It's the second of the Smile movies. So it's Smile 2. So Smile 1 was creepy. Smile 2 is just disturbing. And Joe and I, oh my God, we started it so late. It was like 9 o'clock at night when we started it. And I was like, who are we starting a movie so late at night? But we watched it. It was very scary. I didn't like it, but I did like it. But then, so pretty much the people creepy smile too. So I looked at Joe at the beginning. I said, if you fake smile at all tonight, I'm done talking to you. He fake smiled a couple times and I was so mad. Because it's just creepy. So he would like close the refrigerator door and have the creepy smile on his face. Or I'd be like brushing my teeth and he would pop around the corner with the creepy smile on his face.
And you want me to watch this?
Oh, not this one. God, no.
Okay.
Even my heart rate was like getting increased during the movie. And there were like actually so many jump scares, but they were jump scares that like kept going. Like you needed it for the plot of it, but it was very good. So if anyone wants like a really super scary movie, the beanbags have come around.
I can't get back up.
Well, We'll stop here so you can get back up.
Yeah, you're going to have to help me.
All right, Mackenzie, what New Year's Eve tale, crime, story do you have for me?
So for today's New Year's episode, we have the worst of crimes and the dumbest of crimes.
It was the worst of crimes. It was the best of crimes.
No, this is just worst and dumb. First, we will explore some of the craziest crimes that have happened on New Year's Eve. And then we're going to also recap some of 2024's dumbest criminals. So it's going to go from like dark and sad stories to finishing up with like fucking idiot.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I love like dumbest criminals, dumbest of things.
Yes, we got it. So some of these, so it's a mix. Some of these happened New Year's Eve. They are New Year's crimes, meaning they happened on New Year's or New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Some of these are the years, recapping the year's dumbest criminals.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Fun. Yeah.
So on December 31st, 2014, in Oldsmar, Florida, 23-year-old Christian Gomez was arrested for the murder of his mother, 48-year-old Maria Suarez Casagne, or Ni. According to the Penayas.
Oh, God.
Pinas, probably Pinas. It's got the 2 L's.
Mm-hmm.
According to the, unless it's Pinala. No, okay.
Well, 2 L's would be, yas.
Yeah. According to the Pinas County Sheriff's Office, Gomez decapitated his mother following a dispute over household chores.
Oh, God.
Gomez, who had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, got upset by his mother's persistent requests for him to move boxes into the attic. Authorities reported that Gomez had been planning the murder for 2 days. After the attack, Gomez placed his mother's head in a garbage can outside the garage and attempted to flee the scene on a bicycle, but was apprehended by authorities shortly thereafter.
Bud.
He was charged with first-degree murder. This case drew significant media attention due to its gruesome nature and the familial relationship between the victim and the perpetrator. Oh, we're also traveling all over the world. Most of these are in America, but we got a couple that are not.
When I asked ChatGPT if there were any good stories, it gave me like some good ones. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's like in England or it's in this other country. And then it like wasn't on New Year's and it didn't relate to anything I asked at all. So I thought I was going to have the same thing too, but I do not.
ChatGPT. Come on, man.
I know. It was really struggling. I was like, what's going on, bud?
Learn.
I know.
You get smarter.
But it wasn't. Because it would be like, this crime happened on New Year's Eve. And then I would look at like the Wikipedia page. This happened in March. Or like I think I mentioned earlier, where it was like, oh, this really not awesome crime, but like this really intense crime. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked it up and it's like, this was just fake. I didn't really mean this as a true story.
Damn. ChatGPT got you.
And I was like, what the hell?
All right, I apologize in advance because this is from Brazil, and to look up how to pronounce all of these names was just more than I was going to do. So.
And you would have never remembered anyways, so.
No, I would have had to keep playing it every time I read the name.
Exactly.
So it's better for everyone if I just say it differently every time because I don't remember how I said it the first time.
And we know that it's not right. You don't need to tell us that we're wrong.
Yes, and I already apologized up front.
Yeah.
On December 31st, 2016, in Campinas, Sao Paulo, Brazil, 46-year-old laboratory technician Sidney Ramis de Arujo carried out a premeditated attack during a New Year's Eve celebration at his ex-wife's residence.
Ugh.
Armed with a 9mm pistol and carrying homemade explosives, Arujo scaled the property's wall and opened fire on attendees, resulting in 12 fatalities.
Oh my gosh.
Including his ex-wife, 41-year-old Isamara Feeler, and their 8-year-old son, João Victor. 3 individuals sustained injuries during the assault, and following the massacre, Arujo took his own life. The victims were primarily family members gathered for the holiday festivities. Among them was 26-year-old Carolina de Oliveira Batista, who left behind a young child. Her father was among the injured survivors. Another victim, Luisa Maya, aged 85, was the grandmother of Isamara. The attack also claimed the lives of other relatives, including cousins and in-laws, underscoring the extensive familial impact of the tragedy. Prior to the attack, Arujo recorded an audio message and penned an 8-page letter expressing deep-seated resentment towards his ex-wife and broader misogynistic views.
Wow.
He blamed Isamara for their separation and for limiting his access to their son, which he cited as motivations for his actions. These communications revealed a calculated intent to commit the massacre, highlighting issues of domestic violence and femicide.
Oh, yeah.
In Brazil. That's a new term for me.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's when it's like family annihilation, right?
Fem.
Oh, so F-E-M.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm assuming female.
Hmm.
Yeah. The Campinas massacre stands as one of the most severe instances of domestic violence in Brazil's recent history, prompting national discourse on the effectiveness of protective measures for women and the pervasive issue of gender-based violence in the country.
Oh, then definitely femme.
Yeah. So now, a little less sad, a little more stupid.
Okay. Always better.
Yeah. On December 31st, 2016, during a New Year's Eve celebration in Daytona Beach, Florida, 3 individuals were injured in a stabbing incident near the Full Moon Saloon on Main Street.
Florida.
The suspect, 32-year-old Robert Mazzaros, allegedly brandished a pocket knife and began swinging it in the crowded area shortly before midnight, resulting in non-life-threatening injuries to the 3 individuals, including his fiancée.
Oh, my God.
Mazzaros was apprehended by police after attempting to flee the scene and was charged with 3 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Oh, pocket knife.
He later told investigators that he became startled upon seeing officers in the vicinity and began swinging the knife to exit the crowd.
Yep, that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. The cops will understand that you needed to exit the crowd.
See, less sad, more stupid.
God.
This is just stupid. On New Year's Eve 2015, Danielle Yancey, star of Bravo TV's Jersey Belle.
Oh, I have never heard of it.
Same. And her husband Bart were at their home in Festiva Hills, Alabama, which is interesting being a Jersey Belle and you're in Alabama, but that's besides the point.
And having something that sounds so California.
Yes.
Like you lived in the hills, but
Vestavia Hills.
Vestavia Hills, Alabama.
When they noticed movement on their back patio. Upon investigation, they discovered a naked man wearing only a Ronald Reagan mask and a sock covering his genitals, peering into their window.
Oh my God. But think about it, though. That would be terrifying.
Oh, of course. The man fled when spotted. The incident was captured on the Yancey's home security camera. The following day, the man returned to apologize, claiming it was a prank conducted with friends and not specifically targeted at the Yanceys.
Dude, you could have gotten away with it if you just didn't come back.
Right.
Write a note saying, I'm sorry.
Right. Vestivia, Hills police received another report that night about a streaker in a nearby neighborhood, suggesting the pranksters were active in the area. No charges were filed, and the Yanceys chose to move past the incident.
I mean, he didn't hurt you.
Correct.
As much as these crimes can go bad, this was a very mild one.
Correct.
I don't think I would have pressed charges either.
So these are some of the stories from Reader Digest, but it says the dumbest criminals of all time.
Oh.
So it might not necessarily be 2024.
Okay.
The article was published in 2024.
Okay.
But some of these are really dumb.
Okay.
And so I had to share them.
Of course.
I didn't do any fact checking if they were true. So police in Ossing, New York were called to a mini mart where they found Blake Leak, 23, trying to break in. They chased Leak through the streets until both cops took a tumble. Seizing the opportunity, Leak caught refuge on the grounds of a large building. The building was the Sing Sing maximum security prison where he was promptly nabbed by a guard.
Oh, beautiful.
Scottish shoplifter Aaron Morrison was picked up after pinching a bottle of vodka from a liquor store. It didn't take Sherlock Holmes to find Morrison, though. His name and phone number were left with the clerk after asking her out on a date.
Some people are so stupid.
Yep. For a trio of drug thieves, it was their lucky day. They broke into a home in Silver Springs, Florida, and discovered 3 jars of cocaine.
Oh.
They took it home and snorted the contents. When they discovered that the jars were in fact urns and that they were snorting the remains of the victim's husband and 2 dogs.
Oh my God. I thought for a second it was going to be flour. And then I was expecting you to say flour. And then when you said urns, it took me a little bit to process. And I was like, oh no. Yep. Would that make you sick?
It's certainly not going to make you feel much of anything.
Also, what were they thinking? Like, why is this cocaine so chunky?
I didn't look into it.
Huh.
I don't know.
Either way.
They did the whole fucking thing. So, I mean,
God.
They took home and snorted the contents. Maybe they didn't do the whole thing.
Jeez.
Yeah. But they, yeah.
So bad.
When an attempted robbery at a Lowe's home improvement store went awry, Milton J. Hodges fled across the street and jumped a fence, right into the Cypress Cove Nudist Resort and Spa.
Oh.
As the Orlando Centennial pointed out, quote, as one of the only folks wearing clothes, Hodges was easily spotted by police.
That's when you have to blend in.
Yeah, no. So these next few stories are from Crime Zone's compilation of dumb criminals from their Crimes of the Week segment on their YouTube channel. So it's kind of like throughout this past year, but they're all definitely from 2024.
I do have a funny nudist story. So my grandparents were private investigators for a little bit. And one point they were like, they learned about the case, they learned everything about it, and they were going to go. And then they learned it was a nudist colony. And my grandma was like, no, we're not doing that. And my grandpa was like, why not? They ended up not taking that job.
Let's try new things, honey.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
That's really funny. So in October, police were called to an Ulta store in a shopping center in Alabama.
So much in Alabama.
A worker at the store was outside when they heard a man talking on the phone and making threats to blow up the building.
Uh-oh.
The worker ran back in to warn other workers and customers. And so these guys are getting to safety. I'm assuming ran outside. I don't know where they ran. But the police arrived and arrested the man. The reason I share this story is because when the man was arrested, his face was covered in marker. Even his beard was colored blue.
Oh my God.
It remains a mystery as to why this man had marker all over his face or his motivation for the bomb threat.
A mask?
Yeah, well, I think this is his improvised mask because like everything is colored. It's crazy.
Wear a Ronald Reagan mask. I mean, come on.
Right at that point. Police arrested a 26-year-old in Connecticut this past November when he was found attempting to steal the tires off people's cars at a Hampton Inn.
Oh, okay.
The perp ran to his unregistered car with used plates to try to escape. He didn't make it very far because soon after fleeing, he crashed into a cruiser being driven by a police officer who was on their way to the scene. In January of this past year, police in Florida pulled over a vehicle for a routine traffic stop. They discovered a bag of drugs in the vehicle because the bag that they were in literally said, bag full of drugs.
Oh my God.
But it was like one of those like cheesy ones you buy from like Forever 21 or Spencer's or some stupid shit like that. However, this is not to be outdone when police in Portland had pulled over a couple in a 1994 sedan.
Oh my gosh. Good on them for keeping a car that old going.
Well, they had found more than enough probable cause to search the vehicle. And in this car, they also found a bag full of drugs. But this time, the bag said, definitely not a bag full of drugs. The bag in question ended up containing about half a pound of meth.
Oh.
It should also be noted that the couple was originally pulled over because the car that they were driving was allegedly stolen.
Why would you steal a 30-year-old car?
That's exactly what I was thinking, too. I was like, no shot. That's their car. Why would you steal that car?
Yeah.
It's what?
I wonder if it's one of those things where, like, if I were to drive my parents' car, technically it could be stolen because it's not my car.
Yeah. But this car was like falling apart. It was crazy. I was surprised it worked.
Yeah, of all the cars, you're not going to choose one that could potentially break down as you're fleeing.
An Ohio man broke into a pet store, smashing kennels and setting loose various animals.
Oh.
When apprehended an hour later, he was found with several gerbils hidden in his pants.
Oh. Did you hear about the guy on the news? He was trying to smuggle in tarantulas, bullet ants, and one other kind of creepy crawly on a plane, and they were all in like little vials that he had taped to his body.
Ew.
The first time when I read the article, it was like, were his clothes moving?
I would cause the plane to crash if that was on there.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, we're going down.
Oh my God, yeah.
Whether I jump out the plane, whether I crash the plane, it doesn't matter. I am not staying on this plane.
But yeah, no, he was arrested for having all these things on him as well.
Nice.
Gross.
An Arizona man suspected of a DUI was found with his finger stuck in a can of White Claw after crashing into a guardrail. Despite assuring the officers that he was totally perfect, he was arrested on multiple DUI charges.
Oh my God.
Lastly, a Marion County man warned a deputy, "You better have your doors locked. I like to steal cars." Moments later, he stole the deputy's cruiser, leading to a chase that ended with his arrest after a PIT maneuver, which is a law enforcement tactic used to stop a fleeing vehicle by forcing it to spin out and come to a stop.
Oh my God.
In conclusion, I think ChatGPT concludes this episode, or my segment anyway, very nicely. It said, "These cases highlight that criminal endeavors often end in failure, especially when combined with poor judgment."
Words to live by.
And those are the New Year's worst of crimes and the dumbest of crimes.
I love those. Please don't end up on our list, people.
No, but damn. Some people are both crazy and stupid.
And when it's the two together, not a good combo.
Nope, definitely not.
Well, beautiful. A great way to end it.
You know, and what's nice is that these happened all over the world.
Yeah.
It's not just us.
Or Florida.
All over the world. And Florida.
And Florida.
So yeah, don't be dumb, people.
Don't be dumb.
So, Lauren, what's spooky tea you pouring?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about heists.
Okay.
Ooh, because again, ChatGPT got me really excited to talk about one, and then I couldn't find them, and then I did. But anywho, so heists.
So, but you have a story.
I do have a story.
Okay,
I have
that's good.
2 stories.
Wonderful.
Yes. Okay. So the first one is the Lowell's $100,000 heist.
The who?
The Lowell.
Who's Lowell?
It's a place in Massachusetts.
What does it do?
It's just a town.
Oh, it's a town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a store or something.
No, so it happened in the town.
Oh.
So in 1931, New Year's Eve fell on a Thursday, and that New Year's Eve, the Union National Bank had to make a deposit at the Federal Reserve. They packaged up $100,000, which was going to be carried by the Postal Service to Boston. So, like I said, we're in Massachusetts.
Mhm.
Just for a frame of reference, in 1932, $100,000 is just over $2 million today.
Nice.
So it's a large deposit and transfer that they're doing.
Correct.
The main branch was located at 61 Merrimack Street, which as of 2018 was a Fuji restaurant. Fun fact.
Was a who?
A Fuji restaurant.
Okay.
That's what the article said.
Okay.
The transfer of the money meant that the first step required the money to be placed inside of 2 canvas bags, which were sealed with pressed metal seals at the bank.
Mhm.
Bank agents then transported the money to the postal headquarters at 68 Appleton Street. At the registered mail window, Victor Magoon, beanbags were the best thing ever. Yeah. Victor Magoon, the mail clerk, registered the bags and put them in a rotary locked registry pouch.
What's a rotary? Oh.
Just like
Pins.
yeah. The pouch was then placed alongside another similar pouch. Those were then placed into a standard mail pouch, which was then locked with an iron lock.
It's like a
The Emperor's New
Russian-
Groove. Oh, what?
What?
I was thinking when Yves was like, I would put him in a box, and I would put that box in a bigger box, and then I would send that box to myself.
Okay, yes. I was thinking like a Russian nesting doll of bags.
Yeah,
Money.
pretty much. That
Same
pouch was then to be put on a truck and brought to the Boston and Main Depot in Middlesex Street, where it would be loaded on the express train to Boston, which was scheduled to depart at approximately 9:30 p.m.
There's a hole in the bottom of the sea.
No. Everything seemed to be following the proper way of things. That is, until the Lowell postal authorities didn't receive a receipt for the pouch's arrival in Boston, something that is uniform for all deposits. But thinking of how it was New Year's Eve, they weren't too alarmed at first. They figure that come Monday the 3rd or Tuesday the 4th, they would have the receipt. But Tuesday rolled around and they did not receive the receipt. Obviously, this was a big deal. So
And this was the bank that it was leaving from.
yeah, so the bank that it's leaving from did all the stuff.
Right, and it's supposed to go to
and it's supposed to go to the Federal Reserve.
and then
And then
guys,
they would send them, or the Federal Reserve would
send
send
them a receipt.
Lowell County or Lowell's the receipt saying, hey, we got your stuff.
got it.
So obviously it's a big deal that they never got the receipt.
Sure.
So Xavier A. DeLisle, the postmaster, opened an investigation with the postal inspectors who teamed up with the Lowell Police Department, the Railroad Police, and the Pinkerton Private Detective Agency. The Federal Reserve Bank then notified their insurance company in New York, who rushed an investigator to Lowell to also sit in on the investigation. This was because if the money was not recovered, the insurance company would be on the hook. They were able to keep the whole thing under wraps for like a day because the news of the money going missing went public on Wednesday, January 5th. The newspaper, The Sun, reported, quote, probe of $100,000, mail pouch, disappearance centers here. It went on to report that the mail pouch, quote, disappeared as if into thin air. Postmaster DeLisle said in a press conference that the 3 pouches were sent by truck on that night, bound for Boston. 1 pouch was marked 1. Then the second was marked 2. And what do you think the third was marked?
4.
Correct. 3. But it was marked 3X. So if you know anything about pirates or movies or treasure, X marks the spot. So if you have 1, 2, and 3X, which pouch do you think has all the money in it?
Oh, so there were 3 pouches in the sense of like only one of them actually has the money.
Yep.
That's so fucking funny.
So 3X. But, and also, why would you do the last one?
That's so funny.
Anywho, the 3 pouches left but never made it to the Lowell Depot.
So they just took all 3.
Well, the railway's mail clerk who worked on the train that night said that he only received 2 pouches.
1 and 2?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So you would think that like the one that has all the money would either be 1, so that if you're only getting 2 and 3, you're like, why am I not getting 1? Or 2, so if you're only getting 1 and 3, you're like, where's 2?
But if you only get 1 and 2, you might not think there's a third.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you label it 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3.
Correct. And you don't put a fucking X
On it. Right. Then on Thursday, January 7th, the Lowell Sun's front page headline read, quote, no real clues to mail robbers. And that
Wait, hold on. Pause for 2 seconds. So wait. How did it get from the bank or whatever it was coming from to the train?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Well, because obviously that's where...
That could be a big issue, yes. This was in 1930, so I don't have a ton of information on this case.
And no one thought, well, we don't know where it came from. Look at the go-between guy.
Yeah, you would think.
I don't think they tried very hard.
Just kidding. There's a truck.
Okay.
I had to remember. So there's a truck. So at the bank, they load it into the truck.
Right.
The truck drives to the train.
Yes.
He deposits it in the train. The train takes it to...
So somewhere between the truck being loaded and getting to the train, a bag of money disappeared.
You're right. For the Lowell Depot.
Yes.
Yeah. That there was a substantial award for anyone who had information that would lead to the recovery of the money and for the return to the post office of any of the 5 containers. So the 2 bags or the 3 pouches.
Mm-hmm.
The investigation continued and started to look into any of the people who could have been involved in the heist. So the first was Louis Scaff, the driver of the truck that transported the pouches from the post office to the train depot on the night of December 31st. Scaff was heavily questioned by the postmaster's investigators and the police. It was concluded that his story concerning his actions on New Year's Eve were all straightforward and had no loopholes, leading them to conclude that Scaff was innocent and was not involved. There's a little smudge on my thing and I couldn't read the word. All in all, over 25 men were interviewed and interrogated, and all possible angles of what happened were looked into, but nothing could be established other than that the pouch left the post office on New Year's Eve shortly after 9 p.m., bound for the depot in Middlesex Street for transportation to Boston. So it leaves the post office at 9 for the train that's going to leave at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
The investigation soon did discover some issues.
Did it make it there on 9:30? Like, did it make it on time?
The train left, yeah.
No. Did the truck make it on time?
I think so. When the train arrived at one of the platforms it had to wait at, a railroad employee was told to watch the truck where the pouches were being held. Or watch the truck, the train. He didn't. And so for a considerable amount of time, the train stood on the platform unguarded. This was a very busy platform with a ton of people walking around. So they're wondering, did something happen when the train arrived at the station because it just kind of sat there?
But I thought 3 bags didn't even make it onto the train.
We don't know at this point. They're trying to figure out where things went wrong. The railway mail clerk said that he received 2 pouches that night.
Right.
Right.
So 3 bags didn't even make it on the train.
So 2 did.
So that means that from the truck is where it went wrong, not the train.
Right. Yeah.
And we're just going to be like, oh yeah, his story checks out. No, he's fucking lying. Are you kidding me? Like, common sense.
Well, but for them, they're like, his story checks out. So now they're thinking that something happened on the train.
But they're fucking idiots if not even 3 bags made it on the train in the first place.
I don't know. This is 1930s.
Stupid. They're fucking dumb. They deserve to get away with it at this point.
Then late in the afternoon of Thursday, January 7th, 2 empty and mutilated mail pouches were removed in North Tewksbury by Moody Twitcherwitz.
Wait, I'm going to need you to read that.
I know.
What?
They found 2 pouches, 2 empty and mutilated mail pouches in a wooded area.
The pouches that were in the bag.
Just 2 pouches.
But weren't there bags inside of bags?
Yes. So they found 2 of the pouches. So not the bags that they were found in, but 2 pouches.
Okay.
So where the money technically should have been.
In bag 3.
Right, but they only found 2 pouches.
Out of how many?
3!
Oh, I thought there were 3 bags.
No, there were 3 pouches.
In one bag?
Yes.
Oh, I thought there were like pouches inside of these 3 individual bags.
No, we're just finding 2 pouches.
So what did the train guy do with them?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. That's why they are confused.
I'm confused.
I know.
This doesn't make any sense. These people don't know how to... What this timeline is confusing.
I know. They're confused too. That's why they can't figure out who took this stuff.
Well, that's because they totally skipped the part about the driver.
I know.
Okay. So the train guy says he gets 2 pouches.
Yeah.
This needs to be clarified. This is fucking confusing. But not in a bag. We don't know.
We don't know.
But then later on, in the woods,
Yes.
pouches 1 and 2, or just 2 pouches,
2 pouches are found.
and they're cut open and nothing's in them.
Correct.
But was the money only in one of the 3 pouches?
We do not 100% know. That was not reported.
Okay, see, that's what I thought the point was to have it 1, 2, and then 3. So if they grabbed one, they wouldn't know what was in. That's why I thought we were talking about X marks the spot.
That's what I thought. That's what the news said, but this all was in only one article.
Okay.
So there was no way to collaborate any of this or corroborate anything. And trust me, I tried. Okay. So 2 empty and mutilated mail pouches are found
in the woods
by a 20-year-old man. Okay. He found them at the intersection of Andover Street and Hoodfrom Road, which is Route 133, at the bottom of a 6-foot embankment in a small clump of alders. So that's the woods. With the location of the bags, the authorities and investigators ruled out that the pouches had been stolen by a gang of so-called pouch racketeers.
How are you ruling anything out? Nothing about this makes sense for them to decide, okay, that's definitely not them. How do you know?
I know.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's like the whole DNA thing where there's all this blood and the guy's like, wipe up the blood, it's messy.
What the
So it led them to believe that a local person was responsible.
Yeah, the guy who drove the fucking pouches.
So the man who found the bags was paid a substantial reward. No amount.
For what? He found 2 empty pouches.
No, they were going to give a reward if anyone found anything. So no amount was provided for how much he got, but the investigator said that it was, quote, darn good pay for a good day's work.
So here's my thing. Clearly these guys are stupid. And so if it was me, because it doesn't take much wits to outwit these guys, I would have just stolen the money, mutilated the bags, found them, and gotten more money.
Right.
Because they're not going to suspect anything because clearly their common sense is out the fucking window.
I know. That would have actually been really smart.
Yeah, I know.
So what's interesting, too, is the pouches were dry when they were found. This is important because it had rained heavily from Wednesday night until about 5 a.m. on Thursday, meaning that the pouches had been ditched sometime on Thursday. They were stolen days before that, and they're ditched days later. The truck driver, Lewis Scaff, was questioned again on Friday evening at the post office at Appleton Street by Postmaster DeLeslie, several postal inspectors, and Chief Patry from the Lowell Police Department. At the same time, just after midnight, Victor Magoon, the mail clerk who registered the bags, was also picked up and brought in for questioning. At 2:30 a.m., both were transported to LPD headquarters and booked. Then on Saturday, January 9th, the money was recovered. So Magoon was the one who helped with the recovery after he was arrested. So he's the one who was arrested. He was the mail clerk. He helped them find where the money was left.
Because he helped take it?
Yes.
Okay.
He told police that the spot where he had hidden the sack of money was in some light underbrush. That spot was diagonally across the way from where the 2 empty registered pouches had been found. So he threw the pouches over there, hid the money under the underbrush.
Okay.
That hidden pouch contained, so he did steal all 3. He left 2. The one that I guess had the money contained practically all of the stolen money. And that's where he hid it in the underbrush, as well as other pieces of registered mail.
What the fuck is this train guy talking about? He didn't receive anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Then Magoon directed the officers to where the 2 missing registry locks and the iron mail lock were, so all the things that locked all the bags. Quote, the locks were hanging on branches of snow-covered trees as if placed there by Santa Claus, said one of the investigators. All of the money except for $900 was recovered under the brush where Magoon said it was. The missing $900 was recovered buried in a mason jar in the cellar of his house.
What the? Everyone in this story is a fucking moron.
$900 in today's money would be about $20,000. So it had been Magoon, the mail clerk, and Scaff, the driver, who had teamed up and planned the heist of the money.
Shit! I know.
See, and it makes me think they had to have gotten the train guy in on it for him to say, oh yeah, I received all 3. But they never bring up the train guy. Magoon apparently had a previous conviction and time served in a federal prison for robbing a post office in Barre, Massachusetts, and 2 years before this robbery, Postmaster DeLeslie had suspended Magoon from work because it was discovered that he had lied on his application about his previous incarceration when a postal inspector saw a picture of him in a rogue gallery in Boston. I don't know what that means, but I guess a rogue gallery has to do with people who are incarcerated. DeLeslie had reported the suspension to the authorities in D.C., but after a span of 6 or 7 weeks, he was instructed by D.C. to reinstate Magoon to the job of clerk. Both Magoon, the clerk, and Scaff, the driver, ended up being convicted of the crime and spent time behind bars. Magoon was sentenced to 4 years in federal prison in Atlanta. Scaff was sentenced to serve 1 year and a day in the Worcester County House of Correction. And because this happened so long ago, this is all I have for you about the Lowell heist. You from the beginning are like, I don't even know anything much about this, but it's the driver. And here they are like, well, it could be when the train stopped at the platform. We're not going to think it's the driver at all. It was definitely when the train was on the platform.
Sounded believable, so it can't be him.
Not at all.
And I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
What do you mean?
So the mail clerk must have done something where he gave it to the driver. The driver must have done something where they hid it. He gives something. I don't know what they gave to the, train dude,
guy?
Or if the train dude was in on it and told everyone that he had received 3. Don't know.
But he obviously didn't if it never made it.
Right.
And they found 2.
Right. So they found all of the pouches. The one pouch was under the underbrush with the money. The two other pouches were just kind of out, which that 20-year-old found. So now we move on to an even better one.
This is why crimes are so easy to get away with.
In the 30s, I know.
People are idiots.
So this one is New Year's Eve 2016. And all those in New York City were ready. An estimated 2 million people were standing in Times Square, anxiously awaiting midnight where they would get to see the ball drop. So I know you covered a little bit of this in the intro.
We did.
But the tradition of the ball dropping dates back to 1907. The 12-foot geodesic sphere is covered in 2,688 crystals. The ball drop is considered the official countdown to the new year, with an estimated 1 billion people watching the ceremony on TV each year.
Wow.
One place, like one website I read, it was like, yeah, this is the official countdown to the new year all over the world. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because Australia, they witness the new year way before we do. And California hasn't yet witnessed it when we do.
That's what happens when your planet is round.
Right. So that's why I was like, I'm going to take out that part because that's not true. So with that amount of people, there were thousands of police officers standing around Times Square, about 7,000, trying their best to make sure that the celebration remained a celebration and nothing bad happened. But while millions were celebrating, waiting to ring in the new year in Times Square, there was a crime occurring at Greg Ruth, which was owned by KGK Holding, a jewelry wholesaler in Midtown Manhattan who specializes in rare pink and yellow diamonds set in pendants and necklaces worth up to $150,000. They also specialize in imported stones and other colored diamonds. Most of their jewelry is sold at area retailers like H.L. Gross in Garden City, New York, and Neves Jewelers in Woodbridge, New Jersey. So I had to look into these stores.
Of course.
So the priciest designer piece on the company's website, I think Greg Ruth's website, is an 18-karat white gold necklace with white diamonds and pink tourmaline, which sells for $204,000.
204?
Uh-huh. 204,000.
Chump change.
So CT means carat with a C, which is how much the diamond weighs.
Yeah.
And K means carat with a K, which is a unit of measurement for the purity of gold.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
From H.L. Gross, you can get a...
So one thing you've made sense so far.
Thank you. So from H.L. Gross, you can get a 3.3 carat, 14 carat, white and yellow gold diamond bracelet for $11,540.
Wow, what a steal.
A Tacori pink sapphire wedding band, which starts at $2,590. And to get a Rolex, you have to actually contact them. For Neves Jewelers, they have many different designers, so it's hard to get a straight up list of prices.
Sure.
But you can find them. So an Allure, A-L-O-R, cable and chain forget-me-not flower necklace with 14 karat gold and white diamonds is $4,495.
I want to go to this place. Sounds cheaper.
Same as the 18 karat gold and white diamond ring. They also have Apple Watch bands. So for your Apple Watch, you can get a 10-row Apple Watch band with diamonds for $1,295.
No. That sounds uncomfy.
Right. And like,
I'm not a big bracelet person.
I'm not either. And also my Apple Watch, like I do use it for physical activity. Not going to do that with a 10-row band of diamonds.
Well, I have an Apple Watch band that like I use for if I'm like doing something nicer.
That one is pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are located, the store is located on the 6th floor of a nondescript office building. KGK Holdings is only about 0.2 miles from Times Square, so it's very, very close. So right as the ball dropped at 12:01 a.m., 3 hooded and masked men broke into the West 36th Street store. It is believed that they had gotten into the building around 10 p.m. and waited in the stairwell until midnight, using the noise from the nearby New Year's Eve celebration as cover.
Oh.
The trio of men broke into the building armed with a pry bar and sledgehammer. They came in through a freight entrance to the 6th floor and used a hammer and crowbar to break a lock, which allowed them access to a room containing 4 safes. They were prepared as they were wearing gloves. Using their gloved hands, they removed diamond-encrusted and 18-karat gold bracelets, earrings, and necklaces from 2 of the safes. They stuffed the merchandise into several backpacks before taking off. The 2 unopened safes, the ones they couldn't get into, contained an estimated $7 million in merchandise.
Ooh! How much did they get away with?
I'll get to it in one second. And what's kind of worse, so the lock boxes that they were able to get into were on loan to the wholesaler who was in the process of building a more secure vault. The trio was able to make off with jewelry valued at about $6 million from the 2 safes.
Damn!
Uh-huh. Video surveillance caught 2 of the men attacking the safe. One of the men was talking on a cell phone while he was opening the safe, perhaps receiving the combination from a 4th person elsewhere.
Oh.
As there are only a handful of people who have the combination to the safes.
And they didn't just like destroy it. They like got the combination. Interesting.
Like there were 2 safes that weren't unlocked, but there were 2 that were unlocked. Like not attacked and broken into, but unlocked.
Interesting.
This was all before they were seen busting the security camera with what looked like a wrench. I'll find the video so I can show you. Another camera caught the trio escaping through a 6th-floor stairwell. This video, though, did capture a close-up image of one of the suspects' faces. The video showed a bearded white man, so not a man with a white beard. He's a white man with a beard. That struck me at first.
Wait, what?
A bearded white man. But when I first read that sentence, I was picturing like a Santa-looking man. It's not.
Oh, like you mean like a white beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He's kind of cute. But so he's in a hood without a mask. He had looked straight into the camera during the heist.
Stupid.
The guy who broke the camera has a mask on. So, sir,
Bro.
wear a mask. Wear a mask. The NYPD launched a full investigation, and by January 3rd, they were still trying to determine whether the heist had been an inside job carried out by someone who knew about the expensive merchandise and where they could find the safes. So they were leaning towards this had to be an inside job.
Someone gave them the combo.
These were pieces of information that really only an inside source would have known, like how the place operated, where the security apparatuses were, both inside and outside of the building. The people also had to know that everyone went home early that Friday and that no one would be working at the building over the weekend. There is usually someone at the front desk until about 10 p.m. every night, but that's it. So they snuck in after 10 p.m. They also believe that the combination numbers were given to the trio from a high-ranking employee at Laka Safe Company. And I don't know where they got this information, but apparently the high-ranking employee had a drug problem. So they clearly had someone very specific in mind. When reached, a manager at Laka Safe said that the company was just informed of the heist, like at that moment from the phone call. So they had no idea until the cops were calling them asking about it. It was reported that the freight entrance had been unlocked, as well as 2 of the 4 safes. So either they were conveniently left unlocked or the burglars had the combination.
Yeah.
They would have also needed a key to access the freight entrance, or someone would have had to leave it open for them. Only people who work there have a special card needed.
Interesting.
Police were also curious how the suspects even knew that the business was located on this floor. So the whole building is 16 floors tall, and the outside has no exterior signage about the 6th floor tenants. So you'd have to know that that's what's on the 6th floor. A building worker later told the New York Post, quote, "It's weird to me that they randomly tried that floor in this building. How would someone know to come here? It's really fishy." The worker continued on saying, "It definitely seems like an inside job. The timing is weird too." Former FBI agent Manny Gomez told CBS News, quote, "The focus on that day was terrorism, active shooter, violent crimes. Burglary of a jewelry store was not on their radar. This is why the perpetrators acted on New Year's Eve."
Yeah.
The break-in was reported at 3 p.m. on Sunday, January 1st, so it kind of took them a while.
Yeah.
As of 2017, the police were asking if anyone has any information to please call 1-800-577-TIPS, or for Spanish, 1-888-57-PISTA. An article I read, though, said that the 3 suspects were apprehended, but I could not find those names, and I searched for them.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT, which has led me wrong, said that 2 of the men were Michael Big Mike Johnson and Terry Ty Harrison. Apparently, these 2 men were part of a larger crew that carried out a series of coordinated robberies targeting high-end jewelry stores in the area. But their description of the crime didn't match anything that I learned when I was doing my research. And I tried searching these specific names online. Nothing. So I don't know if they were ever found, if they were ever caught, if they were apprehended.
Interesting.
So if they weren't, they got away with $6 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Untaxed, too.
That's the real point here.
But then it's also like at the same time, how do you now sell that?
That's what I was just thinking.
You know, like people who steal chips from like casinos and stuff, you can't sell that because then they're going to know you took it. But yeah, so there's just some 2 heists that we got to hear about on New Year's Eve.
One was not real. Just sounded like something from like a 3 Scrooges episode.
I know. Or like a really bad detective story.
Yes. Like this sounded like something that like the detective from the Pink Panther solved.
Right. And then, yeah, this next one,
a little bit more
a
sophisticated.
little bit better. You have to remind me afterwards to show you the video because we always talk about showing each other stuff afterwards. We never remember. Okay. And then I have a final ChatGPT story to end the year. I know people hate these, but I love them. Well, I don't know if people hate them. No one's ever said anything, but I don't care. It was New Year's Eve, and Lauren and
I
Kenzie
hate them.
were preparing for the podcast's annual holiday special. After months of recording episodes, researching chilling stories, and scaring their listeners with tales of the macabre, they wanted to do something different this year. Something extra creepy. You're not brave in this one, so it's okay. Well, you kind of are brave. This is going to be us like way down the road after you've investigated a little bit. So they had a plan. They do a live on-air investigation in an abandoned mansion that was rumored to be haunted by spirits who had met their tragic end on New Year's Eve years ago. The mansion, located on a desolate hill outside their town, was infamous for its eerie history. Every year at midnight, strange sounds echoed through the walls, and the air would grow unbearably cold, but no one ever dared to stay long enough to find out why. Lauren and Kenzie, however, were undeterred. They loved a good challenge. See, that part is very true of you.
Loving a good challenge?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But some challenges, I'm like, no. I don't want to be challenged.
As the evening set in, they gathered their equipment, microphones, cameras, and of course, their trusty EVP recorder.
Of course.
Kenzie was unusually quiet. That would be weird.
That would be weird.
Staring out of the studio window as the first few fireworks burst into the night sky, the countdown was officially on. The mansion loomed into the distance as they arrived, its silhouette dark against the dimming light of the evening. They stood at the gate.
Dimming light of the evening? Bitch, it is fucking January. It is already dark.
The dark night of the evening. They stood at the gate, Lauren holding her camera and Kenzie nervously clutching her flashlight. Can you feel it? Kenzie asked, voice barely above a whisper. Lauren frowned. Feel what? I don't know. It's just like the air is different tonight. Lauren rolled her eyes. It's just nerves, Kenz. I didn't call you Mac this time.
Thank God.
This is going to be great. Our listeners are going to love this. They made their way inside, setting up in the grand decaying foyer. The place smelled of damp wood and old dust, the floors creaking under their every step. Everything was eerily silent, but the closer they got to midnight, the more the atmosphere seemed to shift.
I thought it was already midnight.
No.
The fireworks were going off.
Yeah, people shoot off fireworks early. The celebration was going on. It wasn't midnight yet.
Oh.
Yeah, come on, Mackenzie.
Shut up.
They began their live broadcast recounting the history of the mansion to their listeners, how it had once been the home of a wealthy family, the Winstons, who threw extravagant New Year's Eve parties. But one fateful year, at the stroke of midnight, a fire broke out during the celebration, killing the entire family. Some believe their spirits never left the house, forever bound to the night they died. As Lauren spoke, a sudden chill swept through the room. The temperature seemed to plummet. Kenzie shivered. Did you feel that? She asked, her voice wavering. Lauren looked around confused. Feel what? Then the first bang.
Oh, good. It's just me.
Then the first bang echoed from upstairs.
Oh, God.
It sounded like a door slamming shut. Lauren's eyes widened. That wasn't us, right? Kenzie whispered, her voice shaky now.
You didn't tell me I was stupid.
No way, Lauren replied, her pulse quickening. We're the only ones here. At that point, I'd be gone. We would not be staying.
Is that us? Idiot.
We're right here.
Oh, my God.
The EVP recorder.
So first you kill me. Now I'm a moron.
I didn't kill you. Something killed you and I let you die.
That's so much worse.
But you said you would come back and eat me, so.
You deserved it. You let me die. Rude.
The EVP recorder picked up a faint whisper, just at the edge of hearing. Kenzie's eyes widened. She pulled out her phone and checked the time. 2 minutes until midnight, she murmured. Lauren, I think we need to get out of here. But before they could make any plans, a loud crash came from above, followed by the unmistakable sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, dragging. It was coming closer. The room grew colder still, the shadows around them deepening.
We're in the foyer. We're right by the front door.
I know.
Fucking leave.
Lauren glanced at the camera feed. It was static, flickering, and then, just like that, the countdown started.
Ah!
The footsteps grew louder, heavier. 9. The walls seemed to pulse, as though the house itself was breathing. 8. A whisper, not on the EVP recorder this time, but from directly behind them. Get out. 7.
Yes, ma'am.
A shadow flickered in the corner of Lauren's eye. When she turned, nothing was there. 6. The floorboards groaned as if someone or something was moving just out of sight. 5. Suddenly, a high-pitched scream echoed from upstairs, sharp and desperate. Kenzie gasped, her eyes wide with terror. What was that? 4. A voice, distant but distinct, ran out in the air. It's too late. It's too late. 3. A door slammed somewhere in the mansion. 2.
Is that us?
2. The temperature dropped further. Lauren's breath came out in visible clouds. 1. Midnight. And then nothing. The mansion fell silent. The air was still. The temperature returned to normal.
And then it exploded!
No, this is where we're smart. Ish. Lauren and Kenzie stood frozen in place, their hearts racing. They exchanged a look, both wondering if they just experienced what really happened, or if it was just the effect of too much adrenaline. And then as they turned to leave, they heard it. A soft, almost mournful whisper, as if carried on the wind. Happy New Year.
Ew!
The lights flickered one final time, and the doors slammed shut behind them. We had gotten out at this point. They slammed shut behind us.
Got it.
As they hurried back to their car, Kenzie was shaking. Lauren, do you think we just pissed off a ghost? Lauren didn't respond right away. She was too busy staring at the spot where the mansion's window once stood, where she could have sworn she saw figures watching them, its face barely visible in the glass. It wasn't until they got back to the studio that Lauren checked the recording. The usual A Scary State intro was intact, but near the end of their live broadcast, the final moments had been corrupted, distorted with an eerie, static-filled voice. The message was chilling. I'm waiting for you to come back.
Ah!
After that, Mackenzie swore she could hear the faintest whisper from the dark corners of the studio. We're still here.
Ew!
Happy New Year! Yes, Joe, poor timing.
I'm sorry. Well, at least my reaction.
What do you need? Joe?
Oh,
What?
it's chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce.
Oh. Wow.
Sorry, Joe. I slammed the door in your face.
He brought us chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce. Well, that's all we have for you for our New Year's Eve episode.
Bad, but great timing.
Thank you for all of your support over the year.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Stay scary.
And please stay safe.